the vast majority of people here just got their hands on the Testfire.
God.
So we've been labbing that out,
Yeah.
And I'm excited to be here with you, Lily.
I'm so pumped. We just actually fought in our pools earlier this morning.
We sure did.
Yeah, and of course,
we're also
close
roommates.
games, yes, that too. But it's
it's
been
been a
fantastic. It's been a huge day, especially to see everyone playing Splatoon 3. I haven't had the chance to touch it yet. Did you?
Yes, I did.
How was it?
It was great.
Yeah.
I was enjoying Pro in particular.
Okay.
It has an increased fire rate. I'm all about that because that was like my big thing. Like
oh,
Pro.
well then.
It was just fantastic. Some internet issues here just because we're all working
Well,
on like one Wi-Fi connection.
I mean, you get 30 squids on one Wi-Fi and then an entire room of Smash players as well. Like, things aren't going to be smooth.
No, but I'm looking forward to, I hope we get to play a little bit more of it today. But if not, hey, less than 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully a little bit later, maybe between pools and Top Cut, we'll be able to try it out a little bit more, or tonight at the hotel room.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. We do have one dock in our hotel room where we all kind of just crowd around and watch each other squid surge.
Well, yeah, it was like Pika on for an hour and a half last night, just squid surging constantly. So that was pretty great.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think that this is a very unique land because of that experience.
But Splatoon 3 aside, we're also going to be watching some Splatoon 2, which I know no one wants to hear that word right now. But it's going to be fantastic. We're actually going to be watching Nine's team first, which I believe is Nine Save the Queen, which is made up of players I'm sure you know.
Of course, yeah. I mean, Dragonudo and Matt are both like UK champions or something like that.
And massive commentators. They've been around for ages. They're so old. They're so old.
And then my lovely friend Vincent, who's up there as well. And what's funny about this pickup is 3 of them are from the UK, and we have 9 as the resident American. So it's an interesting pickup just because of like the amount of work that everybody on stage.
Honestly, though, honestly, and like from different perspectives too. Like some of them have played as well as done commentary. Some of them have done TOing or production work, but they're all massive names here.
Yeah, massive influences within the scene, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna be seeing them first thing right on Clamblit's Piranha Pit, which is
these are the games that we played. Duh.
yes.
I was like, Clam's Piranha Pit. That's fun. You wrote the book on Clam's Piranha Pit, didn't you, Lily?
I guess. I'm not a fan of it, though, surprisingly.
Yeah?
Surprisingly, I think Clam's Piranha Pit is one of the weaker Clams maps that we play in competitive right now. It's so hard to break back in once you have lost that control.
It has.
It's a massive undertaking, and to do it, you actually have to give up a little bit more than you want to, and it's a huge pain.
Yeah, it's so quickly everything can fall out of your control, right? And you're the one who taught me personally the sweep right and then back left.
Yes.
But by the time that's typically done, things can be over pretty quickly.
And honestly, with teams like these, we have some very competitive players on one side and some, I'm not going to say washed, lightly rinsed players on the other side.
Yeah.
Rinsed players. I'm honestly not sure if we'll see strats like those. So we do know that Nine Save the Queen is going to be facing off against some other names that are really, really massive in this community, especially if you watch streams. Cornflower in particular is a massive Twitch player.
Yeah, this is the Element Art pickup.
Yes.
And my friend Airsign over there.
Yes. We have the Airsign and Cornflower, as well as Jer, who's on Element R, and Bronze, who most people know from competitive. Bronze has been around the scene for ages as well. So.
It has been a hot minute. So in terms of the clout on stage right now,
there's so much. That
is a star-studded lineup. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So you can see them all getting ready, putting their headsets on, taking it in. If you played yesterday for the Wheel of Doom,
it was so good.
You've been on stage a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been on stage 3 times. What about you?
Yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 times so far.
Oh my gosh. I guess that's the thing with the smaller land, right?
Yeah.
You just end up on stage physically more. And I heard they were planning on streaming every team for the double elimination bracket. So just man, you're up there a lot. So getting used to that feeling of having that screen in front of nice, and you could see, just for the audience, when you're on stage, there's that screen that allows the audience here in order to view what's going on. And you can see a little bit through that screen, like what's being viewed on screen, and a little bit past your headset through the speakers what the commentators are saying. So you hear your name called, and you're like, huh?
What we were doing is timing it too. So like there was moments we were like timing to look at the camera and have fun like that, right?
Yeah, we were clapping in rhythm, very loudly.
Yeah. You know, you gotta have fun in these places.
Yeah, it is fun. It's all about the memories, right? You don't get things like this every day. And,
exactly.
You know, just going back, we don't know what could happen next year.
Exactly.
We don't know who's going to be competing next year, who's going to be commentating next year. So it's just so important to appreciate the people that are right here in front of you.
Yeah.
And now we could all be here together. I've kind of been a sap about it.
That's okay. Especially for a lot of us, this will be our last Splatoon 2 LAN. So it's just really important to savor these moments. I know a lot of people watching probably are going to be going to Riptide, or hopefully. Yeah. So it's not the end of Splatoon 2 entirely, but it's going to be a little bit later for the rest of us to be able to see the rest of our friends, you know? I know I probably won't be going to another LAN until spring next year.
Yeah, same.
It's going to be a while.
It is. And for both of these events to be I wouldn't say overshadowed, but have this backdrop of we're also thinking about Splatoon 3, the events that we want to run, the comps that we want to play, you know, having that, this what feels like a finale and what feels like a conclusion, and also be looking forward, I think is very unique and special.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it. I'm really, really excited for it, but it's also a little bit bittersweet.
It is. It really is.
Because, I mean, this is our last send-off, right?
Yeah.
Well, until Riptide, but we're not going to Riptide, so.
No.
Unfortunately. We are, however, going to claim what's Piranha Pit.
Clam's Piranha Pit.
Right?
Oh my goodness. So Clam Piranha Pit, it is
massively exciting, and it's a pain in the ass. Pain in the butt.
The booty.
Pain in the butt, and we'll see how it goes. Especially I'm really excited to see how 9 plays on this in particular, because 9 plays a lot of blasters.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Now 9 has historically flexed a little bit to other comps and other weapons, but I'm kind of expecting a Luna here, and I want to see how that plays out.
I honestly think that will do very well around like that left fan area and stopping drops from steps into mid. I think there's a lot of pressure that could provide if teams are choosing to play that right side out of spawn. Yeah,
absolutely. And it looks like we're getting right into it here. Players painting up the map as quickly as possible, trying to pick up these emit clams and get their specials out early. As we know, the meta right now is very centered around getting those specials as quickly as possible. And Ninja here, popping our first missiles of the match.
And very quickly, we can see that 9 Save the Queen does look like to be on that back foot a little bit, but they do get 2 picks going to be pushing in. One of the members of the other team falling back towards that spawn as Vincent comes in and ducks that. One player stuck and useless, but it does look like 9 Save the Queen is going to bleed this out for a little bit longer. No, I take it back. They're falling right on back.
And Blursed here doing a fantastic job regaining this basket area. That's always the tough part. If 9 Save the Queen decides to hold that ground and not give it up, it can be incredibly hard to take back. But Blursed doing a fantastic job remaking that and more, already taking over mid.
Blursed having all 4 of those specials online, bringing out that Booyah Bomb and that Ink Armor. Going to be putting up quite a show on this right side of the map, getting a pick on that Jet and the Junior. They have 13 claims, but they need them in the right hands in order to be able to dunk this here. Air Sign coming up and beginning this engagement.
Fantastic work from Blursed getting those claims in, but they do need a little bit more, and 9 Save the Queen is already getting into position to try to stop them. 9's Blast doing a fantastic job there, taking out the few remaining players of Blursed, and now going to retake a lot of mid without losing too many points.
Yeah, and they had successfully pulled lead there on the side of Blursed. 9 Save the Queen only having those missiles online at the moment, but have taken a lot of space as they worked their way back in. Jaren's here with the other members of Blursed pushed all the way back towards their hill as those missiles come out. Thankfully not tripping over each other's feet, but quickly having to rotate towards the defense here as this baller comes right on in.
Now this is the part of this game that starts to get me nervous. These teams are very evenly placed and very evenly balanced in terms of their aggressive power and their opening power. So it's really hard to predict how things are going to go and who's going to get that lockout. It already looks like Blursed did lose a little bit of their basket, but did not allow an open. So it puts them in a really good position for this retake.
9 Save the Queen all coming out of spawn. They do have to worry about that left ban because that's most of the time where Blursed is going to be pushing through, almost having those missiles online, but Blursed beginning to use those specials. That Booyah Bomb coming right on towards that basket, but no clams currently in their hands, so a lot of smoke and no fire at this stage of the game.
Blursed, on the other hand, 16 clams in their hands, losing a little bit of mid. It makes me nervous. They're going to need some specials here to open this, and the Booyah Bomb is just the start of it. I don't think that'll be quite enough to fully open this basket. They're going to need a few more picks on top of that.
Finally, Bronze does have that power clamp, and 2 members down. Oh, and he goes down. Dragon Noodle coming in and getting that pick. This is a most likely not going to happen for Blursed. 9 Saving the Queen taking as much space as they can. Dragon Noodle up on that left side. It looks like they'll be able to put pressure on that 52, getting the pick with that suction bomb and missiling that player on that top left side. This could very well be a successful push, and great trade there from Dragon Noodle.
Fantastic. That had to be a successful push, and it does look like we might get lead off of this, and we do. A fantastic place to be. A minute and a half left in this game, and they're already kind of sitting pretty without taking up and losing too much space.
But a lead of 12 points, having that 9-point penalty, and now 15 points is not that much in terms of how Clams Piranha can work and how quickly things can come out. Very quickly, we see Blursed with 36 clam. Airsign on that right side. They have 2 power clams. They have to watch 2 directions at one side. Does try and push up through tires, but does get punished for it. Blursed has a little bit of time to breathe here with 19 clams, but they do need to get in, and they have a minute to do it.
Airsign got in a little bit too early there, unfortunately going down before the rest of their team, and now is causing the rest of Blursed to back all the way on up. They only have a minute left in this game to try to get this push going, which is plenty of time, but burning 2 specials and I suppose getting 2 down isn't a bad way to start this last minute.
It isn't, but the bombs forcing Cornflower to move towards that left, and they do get picked by Dragon Noodle on that K shot. 9 Save the Queen could possibly get another push going the way things are going right now with Dragon on that right side with 8 clams. Looks like they're trying to hold on to left as well, and as I mentioned earlier, that is really where you want to be holding in order to prevent pushes. Getting that pick on that C-Jet is huge because that means no more Ray, and that could just be so annoying, but unfortunately going to be going down to that K52.
Now this part also makes me nervous. I'd like to tell my team the longer you hold a clam, the less likely you are to get a push in. You're marked for so long and you hesitate for so long. It gets really hard to make this push going. That said, 3 down is going to give them a chance to open that basket and start that overtime.
Great play from Airsign there, ducking and weaving through that Booyah Bomb. It doesn't look like 9 Save the Queen is going to have an opportunity to prep a defense. They pull lead there in overtime. Have my Blursed turning around that game in the final seconds.
That wipe in the end was absolutely necessary. I legitimately think with how long they stalled, Blursed would not have had the chance to make that push if not for that last wipe.
Yeah, and here we have that replay getting prepped with Jer coming. Jer coming up through Sneaky, getting those 2 picks. That I just really loved how they swept around that, and particularly that straight from Airsign, knowing that they were gonna go into that bomb and reacting in enough time. While Have My Burst Bomb would have had an opportunity to pull lead there, given that they did have 3 players and most likely would have gotten those final picks. Having everyone there to get it done as quickly as possible. Just really good teamwork there at the end.
Absolutely. You know, I called them lightly rinsed, and I think that was an accurate call. They had a stronger showing than I was kind of expecting, considering how many of these players haven't played competitive in such a long time. But 9 Save the Queen legitimately came in pretty strong.
Yeah, I was very pleased. I know they haven't had a lot of time to practice. One of my friends up there has been telling me about that. So despite that, having enough reactivity towards each other and enough probably pre-existing competitive history to be able to mesh and to vibe in the mellow. And these are pickup versus pickup, so you are on relatively equal footing in that sense.
Absolutely. Now, these are pickup versus pickup of players that I would say play together a decent amount, especially Blursed. I feel like that team in particular has several on it that would have played together multiple times.
Yeah.
And that said, Nine Save the Queen has Matt and Toby, and if they haven't been playing together, what are they doing?
True. Yeah, they kind of are two peas in a pod, aren't they?
Two British peas.
Oh, what do you call a British pea? I know you have a pun
bee?
for it.
I don't know.
Come on, Lily.
I'll think of something later.
All right, here we go. And we do see 9 on that Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. What a mouthful. Dragonudo sticking on that K-shot and a very similar comp coming out from Have My Blursed Bomb. I think they switched that Pro out.
Yeah, it looks like it. But this is looking fantastic so far. 2 down already on 9 Save the Queen. Vincent getting the jump out, incredibly important. And did pop that armor, but not going down here is vital.
Yeah, especially given that this map, if your opponent manages... Ooh, 2 down on the side of 9 Save the Queen. Vincent and Dragonudo going to push in. They're getting that paint. This zone is going to flip into neutral. The Junior almost has armor. This could be huge for them. That armor is going live from 9 there. Booyah Bomb coming out on the zone, but not enough going in. Oh, no, never mind. It is. It does flip the zone in the favor of Have My Blursed Bomb. 9 Save the Queen unable to cap and unable to apply penalty.
Yeah, and 2 down means they're going to have to back out and try this again. It's important that no more go down until the rest of the team is back up. They're going to need these specials in this retake power.
And here we go with Bronze with that Ray. Does get the pick on the 52. Continuing to apply pressure on that zone. They don't have a lot of room to work with keeping paint there, keeping it neutral. But Bronze, the last player left standing as 9 Save the Queen finally caps that zone.
Fantastic jump out from Bronze. Going to need that special meter as much as they have to try to get this retake going. It took 9 Save the Queen a few tries to get that moving, but beautiful cap eventually.
Yeah, and that blaster is going to do very well in terms of situating a lockout. Those missiles can be some serious tripping hazards on top of that plat, and we see Ninja and Vincent up on that left side applying as much pressure as they physically can. 9 Save the Queen is looking rather pretty in order to pull lead here. If they can keep the paint over the Booyah Bomb, getting the pick on the Junior and the Pro is huge, and this is going to be a lead swap in favor of 9 Save the Queen.
Absolutely, and with only 30 points left on the timer, while Have My Blursed Bomb has enough time on the clock, that special timer, the zone timer, is going to force their hands a little bit quicker than they want to.
Yeah, but they do have the specials in order to do it. The Booyah Bomb does come out. Dragonudo in a dicey situation on that left side. Airsign and Vincent in that Junior 1v1, and Airsign comes out victorious. Will they have enough paint to swap that zone? They most likely do, having a 2v4 situation, but Ninja getting the pick on Airsign as Have My Blursed Bomb does cap that zone.
I was a little bit scared they weren't going to be able to get there in time, but fantastic work to be able to extend this game. Now we see Jarens up here getting a little bit aggressive in the way that 9 Save the Queen did not, moving into that plat and trying to take space away from them.
Yeah, I really want to see Jarens work their way up there. That Pro popping the Booyah Bomb right on top of them. Jarens does try and duck back, but probably would have fallen in the water, but does manage to get that pick. 9 Save the Queen coming in and getting that cap. Airsign alone on that slick. That is a delayed wipe on Have My Blursed Bomb. And look how quickly Dragonudo is pushing up onto that plat. They do back a little bit, but Vincent holding that as well. Any points that they gain here are theirs to keep, and simply keeping the zone out of Have My Blursed Bomb's hand does put them in a rather significant advantage.
Absolutely. Now it makes me a little bit nervous to see how far Vincent got forward there, but Blursed Bomb coming back in now, popping several specials to try to reestablish that, and not quite gonna get there. Unfortunately, not winning that cap.
I really love the way Dragonudo was playing around that left side and simply keeping pressure on Slick from a relatively safe distance. 9 Save the Queen, oh my goodness, they have cleared that penalty. We are in the final moments of the game. Will Airsign be able to get it neutral? No! Game 2 going to 9 Save the Queen. We are 1-1.
Beautiful showing. This is one of my favorite maps, honestly, for reasons like that. Like, people think it's fairly lockout heavy, but it's honestly a lot more back and forth if the teams are evenly matched.
Yes.
Which we have here.
Yeah, I really like the way that Splatoon's Inkblot forces team play.
Yes.
If you go in and you try to go out of spawn and you just try to gun for that zone, you are going to find yourself in a lot of trouble unless you are simply God and can frag out of your mind.
Absolutely.
Playing those left and right sides, like particularly I was impressed with the way Dragonudo stayed around that left tree and simply kept up the pressure, saying you can no longer push through your slick. You have to go right. You have to go another way.
Absolutely.
And it just bled so much time off the clock.
And the thing about Inkblot that we'll also see on our next map, TC Starfish main stage, is patience. Yeah. Patience is incredibly important for not only retakes but pushes in general.
Yeah,
and
I feel
defenses as well.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like you're trying to remind me of something.
Patience.
Oh man, boy, oh boy. Yeah, TC Starfish in a map unlike any other in terms of how the map is structured to encourage you to flank and encourage you to play off angles. And once you really get past that first checkpoint, if you don't have snipe and you aren't working up, you're going to find yourself having a lot of trouble in clearing that.
Absolutely, and it's massively important to take this map step by step.
Yeah.
You work through your own street first, then you work through mid, then you work through the right side, then you sweep left, then you sweep back right. It's very important not to skip any of those steps if you want a successful push.
I feel like I've heard that one before, Lily.
Wow, I wonder where.
I wonder who. All right, both of these teams very quickly running for mid. Vincent almost having that armor online, going to pop it at the same time as Air Sign on Have My Blursed Bomb. It does look like they're going for that tower as that ray does come out. But it really a rather juke situation here in mid.
And trading 1 for 1 puts them in a fairly even position, though 2 down now is going to give 9 Save the Queen a bit of an advantage and time to push this right side. They're going to have to make sure this right and this snipe are absolutely clear before they hit that first checkpoint.
Yeah, and they have that armor online ready to go. Switching to that single armor comp, and instead of the Inkjet with the blaster, Ninja popping missiles from that left side, but there's no one on tower. Having to fall back for that, but there's already 2 on that right side. That's going to give them a lot of trouble. Will they be able to dance around that checkpoint? Look at that gamer go! Dragonudo's the last one left standing, having to dance in that corner, but finding themselves in a lot of crossfire.
This is exactly why you have to protect that right side until that checkpoint is clear. You must defend it if you need that. If you're gonna get that checkpoint, it's vital.
We're finding Have My Blursed Bomb in a strong counter push with that ray on site. That's going to give them a lot of offensive presence. They are getting the pick on the junior. Air Sign on that tower, and this does look rather clear because 9 isn't going to be able to get in there in order to be able to prevent this. That checkpoint has fallen, and they are continuing to push, but will they be able to clear window, especially with these missiles coming out?
What we really need to see is these players moving pit. We need to see them coming from top right instead of top left, I suppose, on the defending side here. It's incredibly important to take those angles in order to take that mid area back, but it looks like they managed to succeed just fine with the strategies they were trying. It looks like Blursed Bomb gave up a little bit more space than they intended.
And 9 Save the Queen having 3 specials online, including that almost that armor inkjet combo. Oh my gosh, 9 finding a little bit of paint under his feet from that jet squelcher. This most likely is going to continue to be a stalemate between these two teams as they try and break back in a 3v3 situation.
For sure, and it looks like they're doing a decent job. It makes me uncomfortable to see so many trades. Honestly, 9 Save the Queen has a little bit to go if they're going to take that lead. With only 2.5 minutes left in the game, and they can't seem to keep their whole team up when they need them.
Yeah, it is the I would state that it is the defending team that benefits on tower control when you do get a trade. Bronze avoiding that burst bomb, putting pressure on that left side. We have 2 players on left, 2 players on right. Blursed Bomb having a very 9 Save the Queen having a very spread out defense here as that inkjet does come out. 2 players in mid though, continuing to try and push Dragonudo, getting that pick. Finally Have My Blursed Bomb having an opportunity in order to be able to push this here, especially if Jarrett's managed to get this drop on the junior.
I'm absolutely loving Bronze's fancy footwork in mid. Yeah. Just to be able to dip and dodge and not overcommit to anything in a way that takes them out of the game is beautiful to watch.
Yeah, Air Sign still on that tower as Blursed Bomb does barrel towards that third checkpoint. The Air Sign going down, however, so it is just Cornflower, 2 players in pit. 9 Save the Queen holding on for dear life as they try and clear out these remaining members, getting those picks, winding that tower back towards mid, but they have a long way to go if they want to pull lead here.
And that third checkpoint, it really is do or die moment, and now 9 Save the Queen has to clear both second checkpoint and almost tickle that third one in order to take that lead. It's not going to be an easy feat.
Especially given how much difficulty that they've had here, especially clearing this right side. 9 taking that 1v1. There are 2 players of Have My Blursed Bomb in pit there. That Inkjet going to put up a serious amount of damage on Snipe. Will 9 get that pick, especially with that Ray coming out? No, the Ray gets the Inkjet cancel. Great play from Bronze there, having to deal with those missiles as well.
Bronze recognizing the player that needed to go down in that moment and just going for it. Fantastic work. But it does look like Blursed Bomb is coming in on from the left side here, managing to get a full wipeout. 9 Save the Queen.
I hear that one, Lily. Yeah, but 9 Save the Queen did manage to clear that first checkpoint. So they do have most likely one more solid go at this if they manage to get in. Getting the pick on the pro is huge, but Jarens and Airsign cleaning up on Dragonudo. There's one more player in mid, but they are most likely alone in a 3v3 situation. They just have so much paint to work up for, so much. 9, great pick from 9 there. Oh my gosh, they are going to be able to work forward off of this.
Now, this is a moment we really need that patience. They're going to be doing most of this push in overtime, so it's absolutely vital they clear those steps as stated. They have to clear that right before they swing left. And it looks like the tower's approaching that second checkpoint just fine. But 9 going down a little bit early here is going to put a lot of pressure on 9 Save the Queen.
Yeah, it is. And that could have been such a great play. That Ray is going to keep them off of tower. Cornflower right on that. Both players of 9 Save the Queen going down, unable to tap that tower. Have My Blursed Bomb taking game 3. This is such a back and forth set.
It really is, honestly. These teams are very well matched, so I'm honestly not... We were trying to predict last night in the hotel room. We were trying to figure out who is going to win out of these sets. Because honestly, both these teams are kind of wild cards.
Yeah.
They're both competitive and good enough to beat each other, which is a problem. Because how do I predict that now?
No, you really cannot. And I'm very thankful that this is the set that they chose to put on stream just because, man, it is just you don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, that blaster coming out from 9 is just so unpredictable and so uncanny. And that's not something that has been seen and witnessed, especially with this past year of Splatoon 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, for the most part, 9 Save the Queen in particular are playing fairly meta weapons, except 9. Because 9 is 9.
Here to have a good time.
I think 9 is one of those people who's never really had fun playing the extreme metas and likes to, just enjoy himself. And honestly, blasters aren't a terrible pick, especially for a player like 9 who's good at them.
Yeah.
But it does make things a little bit more difficult.
I was very nervous about 9's Inkjets.
Yes.
He found himself in trouble time and time again. And it does look like the setups were there, like there was intention behind those pops. He knew what he was doing. Just Have My Blursed Bomb having the wherewithal to react to that and to engage with it and punish it. So I want to continue to see that Inkjet from 9. I just also am curious how he is going to adapt to the pressure that Blursed Bomb is putting up.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is that 9 is popping them a lot to try to get picks. And I want to see 9 pop them for pressure.
Yeah.
Especially in those vital moments where they need just to stall a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I would rather see 9 try to move the enemy team back than try to kill them.
Yeah. Well, here we go, moving forward. 9 switching to that K-shot instead of the blaster for that additional popping power from that suction bomb. Both teams sticking fairly to a quad shooter, something that we've seen many, many times before, but worth noting, Ninja running that V-Jet versus the player on the other side running the C-Jet.
And honestly, we'll see how that dynamic comes in. Things are going to be playing a little different here. They're playing a little for different win conditions, honestly, between those two weapons.
Yeah, and I really like missiles on this map in particular. While the map is long and narrow, you can do a lot with the missile terms, creating tripping hazards from each other. But the Rainmaker coming up through cut. Vincent trying to put up pressure here. They do manage to get the pick, but have my Blursed Bomb. They are going to be able to stall this and bleed it out. Jaren's painting up all the way to the pedestal. Is 9 Save the Queen going to find themselves in some significant trouble here?
And Jaren's is here hungry for these splats and paving a beautiful way for their Rainmaker, getting all the way up to that clan's basket, but not able to get quite further. That said, 34 is not a terrible push on this map.
It's not a terrible push, especially for the first minute of the game. 9 Save the Queen having those 3 specials make that 4 online, that double missile combo coming out with that armor. They're most likely going for the reset here in order to be able to push forward and snowball off of that. There goes the Rainmaker resetting as they work their way back into mid, unfortunately going 1 down in the process.
That is a moment where I like to see teams pick up the Rainmaker. In the time you would take to paint, I mean, Vincent was painting along the same areas for a long time. Picking up that Rainmaker actually gives them more pressure and stops them from needing to wait out that whole timer, you know?
It does, and very quickly have my Blursed Bomb is doing just that. Jaren's popping that bomb rush in order to take complete control of mid. That jump is going to find itself in trouble, going down. A 9 Save the Queen on the back foot with 2 down as Jaren's and Bronze push up into that street. 9, and it does look like the Dragonudo are on the defense here. Cornflower getting the picks and shutting down that defense, but will they be able to snowball off of that? No, they're going to opt to fall back.
Now the real question here is, did 9 clip that so that he can post it to Twitter later?
Maybe, most likely, I would hope so, unless he's too enthralled in the game. 9 Save the Queen, ooh, going down Ninja to a suction bomb.
And that said, 2 specials up, right in time for this Ray, gonna pop that armor to try to counter it and stay alive. We need the members of 9 Save the Queen to stay alive a little bit longer to try to retake this map control. All that's left is Bronze on the other team.
Exactly. Vincent going down with that Rainmaker, though. 9 Save the Queen, once again, 2 down, taking this scrap in mid. Dragonudo having to fight those 3 players up on that left side. That's a lot of pressure on one player in particular. Trying to take those fights does get punished for it. Have my Blursed Bomb once again in a favorable situation with 2 minutes left in the game. The lead that they're holding on to is not massive, so keeping the pressure on here is critical. Jaren's getting a clean double and 1 assist. There's 1 player left standing on that left snipe.
Honestly, Jaren's sitting pretty with 2 minutes left in this game already with 13 splats. Is making me nervous.
Yeah, don't start counting, Lily, because Jaren's is going to come right on through.
I'm in 14 now.
Vincent getting the pick on the Rainmaker, and have my Blursed Bomb able to extend their lead just by a hair, ducking and weaving to avoid those missiles. Finally in a situation, Vincent's going to go off for the reset. They're going to have to push in order to take mid as quickly as possible. They don't have much time to set up.
And honestly, that reset might have put them in a worse situation than they already found themselves. Things are getting a little tight here. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this game, and they really, really need a prayer.
Yeah, have my Blursed Bomb putting up a defense, though. It does look like those 2 players that were sitting have spread themselves out enough in order to be able to keep the pressure up. They have that suction bomb rush for that quick pop, or simply stalling out. Great pick from Jaren's there, and here comes that bomb rush as Vincent drops in the pit. Will he be able to pull lead? They do! Getting it to 24 remaining!
Beautiful work there from 9 Save the Queen, taking advantage of an opportunity they saw. That's really all Rainmaker is about, is seeing that opportunity and taking it quick enough for it to matter.
Absolutely. Jaren's pushing up. They know that they're going to have to get a push going. They can't simply keep on the defense any longer. They are now at disadvantage. Bronze and Cornflower are putting up pressure on that street. And look how 9, Dragonudo and Toby are all in that street, rather clumped up. Cornflower and Airsign trying to push through cut, but those missiles are going to keep Airsign and Bronze from doing that. They really don't have that much room to go. 24 is beatable once you manage to get in the pit if you keep the paint down, but the longer they find themselves in this 3v3 situation is the longer they're finding themselves in trouble. 9 coming in for a hero play, getting the pick on the Rainmaker. What is Blursed Bomb going to do from here?
Jaren's popping that bomb rush to try to pop that as quickly as possible, but another hero play from 9 saving that queen, and taking them all the way to a game 5.
Can you believe it? we're on a Game 5 situation on stream in round 1 of the second wave. This is just not something you see.
Honestly, it is absolutely fantastic. I didn't think our first set of the day was going to be this exciting.
I didn't either, honestly. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this.
It definitely wasn't this. I mean, these teams are so much more evenly matched than we already expected them to be. Mm-hmm. And it's scaring me.
I don't know who's going to win this. Who are you rooting for, Lily?
I mean, our last game is Clams on Humpback Pump Track. Looking at the comps and how fast-moving that map is, I think I have to put my money on Blursed. I think Jarence is a monster.
Yeah,
and Jarence is just going to pop the bomb rushes.
And that bomb rush can take control of all of mid, basket to basket
quickly.
So fast. Disclaimer, I have friends on both sides of this stage, right? I'm very close with Vincent, and I played in LTC with Airside.
Yeah.
So and those are both the junior players, and you want to pick the stronger junior, right? But I just can't in clean conscience.
I think they both have the opportunity to take this.
Yeah.
I think if 9 Save the Queen wants to win,
which
they have to shut down Jarence.
Yeah.
In particular. I think Bronze is a huge competitor, so, I mean, the rest of the team is as well. I think the thing that's stopping them from getting committing pushes and strong pushes is Jarence picking them off before they can start. So I think if they want to turn this into a convincing match, they need to find a solution to Jarence's aggression.
And how do you do that, right? Because, I mean, it's a splash, so you can outrange it, you can snipe it, you can apply enough chip, but realistically, on Humpback in particular, where the map has so many curves, and those burst bombs can do so much work in terms of creating fluidity and strong movement, that's going to be an extremely difficult weapon to shut down on this map mode.
Absolutely. We also saw Jarence doing a lot of sharking, so I think they have 2 avenues to try to stem that tide. It's either going to be more paint or chip damage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to see 9 on a Tri-Slosher, but I know that's not going to happen. We're going to have to settle for the missiles.
Oh, and Bronze switching out for that bamboo with those missiles. Interesting pick, Lily.
Jarence on the 52 is also what's catching my eye. I think that Booyah Bomb is going to do a lot of work for them in basket. We'll have to see how Jarence operates the 52. And if it can mirror the output of splats that the Splash had.
Ooh, great pick from Dragonudo there. Are they going to be able to get the double? Yes. Are they going to be able to get the triple? The bamboo falling back towards that right elbow. Dragonudo having that bomb rush. As we mentioned earlier, that could just apply so much pressure. And instead of Blursed having that bomb rush, it's 9 Save the Queen.
Which I wasn't expecting.
No.
That is a twist of the century. Dragonudo here doing fantastic work already, just maintaining that mid and not overcommitting to some of these fights.
Yeah, I really like that great pick there from Dragonudo. This match is already playing out differently than I was expecting. That armor coming out from Blursed is going to give Dragonudo some trouble. Taking that 2v1 does get picked, but Ninja is still up, going down to Airside. It is 9v Airside and Jarence. 9 going to have to fall back towards that left elbow, but Blursed having an opportunity to push with this power clamp, but not for long. Airside getting picked, trading out by 9. This is a scrap, Lily.
It really is. Now, the challenge of this map is really living when you need to.
Yes.
The clams are so separated and the spawns are so slow on this map that you have to time your pushes and specials and splats with the ability to build a power clamp.
Yes.
Which is so difficult. Even Bronze here has been holding onto this power clamp for a solid minute and hasn't been able to make an opening yet.
Yeah, it really is difficult because you can get a wipe on defense and then push up to basket, take street, take all this space, and then find yourself with no clam economy to work with. These missiles going to keep Bronze on their feet. The 52 going down, the bamboo going down. 9 Save the Queen having all the pressure that they need to push, having burnt through those specials on Blursed. But as we mentioned, having the clams.
The longer you have that football, the harder it is to make that push. And we saw a little bit of that in play there. Now we're having the opposite problem on 9 Save the Queen. They have the whole thing, but they have only 8 clams on one player. They need a little bit more and weren't able to pass in time to make a ball.
Yeah, Vincent and Dragonudo going out under basket. That's going to completely bring that push to a close as Ninja is picked as well. 9 most likely going to have to fall back here as Jarence and the remaining members of Blursed push into mid.
Jarence's fancy footwork, they're going to save that ball from those missiles and get quite a bit of mid as well. And unfortunately, for 9, splatting 9 in the process.
Yeah, and there we go. Blursed Bomb putting up pressure on the 9 Save the Queen, trying to go for that dunk, unable to. But Ninja coming in here, getting the first dunk of the game, 2.5 minutes into it. Not going to be any follow-up from 9, though, because he doesn't have any clams.
See, there's several things you need to watch on this map, though, which makes it so hard and also requires a lot of patience, as we spoke about earlier. You need to have the clams for the push when the push is ready. You need to have the specials because you either need 1 or 2 specials or 2 or 3 down on the opposing team. If you don't have those conditions, you have to wait. And it looks like both these teams are having that struggle with that concept in particular. That waiting is so hard.
Yeah, 9 popping those missiles, but a lot of smoke and no fire. Going to lose Vincent in the process. They do have 9 clams, but that's not enough to make a push off of it. A 3v3 situation. I would add it as 9 Save the Queen with the advantage here. They do have that lead. If they manage to keep up this defense and keep this stagger going on Blursed Bomb, they will be able to hold this, but that's a big if. Air Sign coming in with that ball, but being shut down. Great defense there from Vincent and Ninja.
Honestly, this is the roughest match of clams I've seen here in a while.
Yeah.
And it really is neither of these teams. The only special they have to push with is the Booyah Bomb. But neither of them's really using it as cover to open that basket. So neither of them's able to open that basket.
Yeah, and those missiles being used to force people back, but not pushing up with it. Dragonudo going to find themselves in this 2v1 because those 2 members dropped from Trench, keeping the paint down. This is just such a brawl. Have my Blursed Bomb having those 10 power clams, having those 2 specials, that Booyah Bomb coming out, but they don't have a power, so Dragonudo is just going to be able to paint right over it.
And this is that scrap we're having again. There's no clams for them to be able to pick up and make that ball with. And when they do get that ball, it's just a little bit too early or a little bit too late.
Ooh, that is a wipe on Have My Blursed Bomb. 9 Save the Queen going to be able to get as much paint down as possible. Most likely not going to be able to form a power here just because of how lethargic those clam spawns are. But at this point in the game, it is simply about maintaining Miz presence and not going down. If they manage to hold on to this for the next 30 seconds, the 20 seconds of overtime that they're going to have, they will be able to maintain this game and take the set.
It does look like 9 Save the Queen was able to pick up a ball, but I would not threaten a push with it just yet. Really, they just need to stay alive and hold this mid area.
Very quickly gearing through that overtime. About 10 seconds left. 2 members of Blursed Bomb down. That clam and the 52 pushed up on that left side. The clam going down. It is just the 52. 9 Save the Queen is going to be able to hold on to this lead. Vincent pushed up under that basket, and that is GG. Set 1 going to 9 Save the Queen in a very, very exhausting set.
I think I need a nap.
Yeah, I think I need coffee.
Oh, well. I don't blame you after that one.
Oh, my God.
17 on Dragonudo, 20 on Jarence. It looks like Dragonudo just said, all right, Jarence, if you're going to be like that, we're going to step up.
Yeah.
Did a fantastic job of it.
I am finding myself winded from that last match in particular. And the fact that the game-winning moment was a single power clam dunked in a desperate attempt, and that lead was held onto for 2.5 minutes. How does that happen?
5 minutes of gameplay and an overtime, and all we got was 1 ball in? 1 ball. That's it. That's all we got in.
Splatoon 2 for the Nintendo Switch.
Goodness. Honestly, it just felt like that neither of them had what they needed to push in, and we were just lacking that patience, which is just so important on this map mode. And it's a struggle.
It is. And every single time Airsign, which is what we're seeing on the replay, tried to push in, they were finding themselves in within an iron wall and no paint to work with, getting shut down with power clams multiple times. And I do think that was what you mentioned earlier with that Booyah Bomb placement. Just the timing of it wasn't there to enable Airsign to swim in and dunk that ball. Because all they needed was 1 ball and 1 little clam. That's it. And then that game would have been in the other way.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was a marathon. I feel like we ran a marathon.
I completely agree. Especially that Rainmaker Manta game, which did switch in the final moments of the game. Vincent gunning towards that pedestal, and then Blursed Bomb only having that minute to work with to try and pull that lead around, despite holding on defense for 4 minutes straight. Right. just what an exhausting set already, honestly. Sorry.
No, please.
I was just going to say, we just finished our own wave.
Yes.
Like we just got done competing, both of us, and here we are, still in the thick of it. And honestly, that was the most exhausting thing I've witnessed all day.
Like, my own sets were pretty chill for the most part. Like, we played pools. We were like, yeah, this is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then I took a break. I had a little bite to eat. And now I'm here, and I'm more tired now than I was when I woke up this morning. And I was pretty tired when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
The dangers of being at a LAN.
Right? Really, you never know how it's going to go. Just be flexible.
Oh, yes.
You could try to go to dinner with your team and your coaches and then wind up at a party of 19.
You could, and then sometimes you try to go to bed at a decent hour and you lay up till 2:30 in the morning giggling with each other. You know, it just happens.
This sounds like two very personal stories, though.
Yeah, we definitely made those up, and they didn't happen to us.
No, not at all.
No. No, no, not at all.
Oh, man.
We definitely didn't go to a restaurant an hour before they closed to 20 people. That didn't happen.
No. But we did call ahead.
We did,
Call ahead.
Well, in theory, if we had done this, would have called
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, you're right. The hypothetical phone call was placed.
Yes.
But I was not a witness to it.
No. Oh, goodness gracious.